We're back live. I'm Peter Alexander here on MSNBC. The much-anticipated memo from Democrats on the House Intelligence Committee could be released at any time now. The White House is expected to declassify parts or all of what's a response to the memo from Republicans on the House Intel Committee. We want to get to Benjamin Wittes, MSNBC legal analyst and senior fellow in governance studies for the Brookings Institution, and retired FBI special agent Bobby Chacon, both men joining us now. Ben, to you first. The Intelligence Committee voted Monday night to release the Democrats' memo. The White House claims transparency, but describe this dilemma for them right now, effectively signing off on a memo that's simply going to undercut the president's argument.
Well, so that's, frankly, my heart is not rending in two over the dilemma. The White House cleared on the release of a memo that apparently contains material omissions, the FBI says, such that render its conclusions inaccurate and false. It's hardly a giant hardship then to release an additional memo that may correct some of those errors. And so if that's embarrassing to the White House, you have to ask the question why they did the first one.
Yeah, it's a stunning position, right, Ben? Because right now, literally, after claiming transparency the first go-around, they're going to have to put out the documentation that the Democrats say shows the full breadth of the information that exists, not just the cherry-picked, as Democrats suggest, items from that initial memo.
Yeah, now I will add, though, that I do have anxieties about releasing more information. One of the problems here with the original release was that it puts in the public a whole lot of information that should not be in the public. For example, the names of a FISA target, the names of sources for FISA applications, the names of individuals who signed FISA applications. These are materials that should not be made public.
So, Bobby, finish that thought, Ben. Go ahead.
Yeah, and it's a bitter pill to swallow to correct some of that information, to make additional information public that shouldn't be public.
Bobby, you're the law enforcement community representative for the sake of our purposes today. What is the risk of this, in effect, continued dialogue?
Well, the risk is that the committee is impacting witnesses that may come before the actual investigation. So you don't ever want, as conducting an investigation, you don't want to reach out to a witness who's already been contacted, say, by a member of the committee staff who's asking the same or similar questions. These should not be parallel investigations. The Mueller investigation should go on unimpeded, should operate behind closed doors. It shouldn't be done in the public with battling memos or like I like to refer to it as the Nunez motion to suppress. And now you're going to have a counter. The Democratic memo could be filled with the similar omissions and cherry-pick their own things. So these are just battling political memos that are using information that's being gleaned from the investigation, and that's just a dangerous road to go down. It really needs to stop so that Mueller's team can be assessing all this information without it being tainted, in the public arena.
Ben, can I ask you about some reporting from the Washington Post? They report that the president is skipping written intelligence reports and instead relying on oral briefings. The Post notes that that's contrary to the practices followed by the past, I think, 7 of his predecessors. What do you make of this? Is that an area for concern?
Oh, yes. I mean, look, is it a surprise that Donald Trump doesn't want to read a detailed intelligence briefing every day? Hardly a surprise.
Yeah.
Is it a surprise that he finds, that kind of information dump to be and analysis to be tedious? No, it's not a surprise. Is it a very dangerous thing to have a president who doesn't care to be well informed and doesn't actually take advantage of the best intelligent product that our intelligence community is capable of producing? Yeah, that's really an unfortunate and potentially dangerous thing, and there's nothing you can do about it because the president's entitled to absorb whatever information he wants and to leave whatever information he wants on the table, but it's hardly the way you would want the president to be behaving with respect to the output of this community.
Bobby, last quick question to you. The White House, I was in the briefing room, appeared to be suggesting, because the background check by the FBI and others wasn't completed on this top aide to the president, Rob Porter, who resigned this week, that there was really only so much they could do until it was completed. Is it believable that the White House would not have known anything? We're told by at least one of the ex-wives of Rob Porter that she told the FBI when she was interviewed in January that he was someone who could be blackmailed. Would that not have been communicated early along?
Well, if something like that, there may have been an interim report to the White House prior to the adjudication of his security clearance. He probably was operating under a preliminary or an interim clearance and waiting for the adjudication. But if there was something like that, it may have been reported over to the White House immediately. I can't say for sure, but it wouldn't be unusual for the FBI to make that known, especially somebody in his position. At least to the chief of staff level, that we may have a problem with his final adjudication of his clearance.
Yeah, reporting today that the White House counsel, Don McGahn, knew about it as much as a year ago, and that the chief of staff knew about it at least several months ago. Ben Wittes and Bobby Chacon, gentlemen, thank you guys very much.